On this episode, episode 134 of the podcast, I'm going to talk about Easter working hours. Yep. Just an update on my reading for the year, and also a bit of an update on the hip recovery. So let's get into it. Jingle. Hello. Everybody, and welcome back to another episode, another edition of the Luke Who's Talking podcast with me, Luke. How are you going? Are you all right? Going all right? Yeah? Hey. So, yeah, it is the Easter period. I was about to say the festive period. It's not, the break period or whatever. I don't know. The Easter period. And it's interesting because this year here in Australia, it has coincided with Anzac Day, which is just like a day of remembrance for the international listeners. And so it's all been very interesting, the work schedule. So just for context, 4 days a week, I have Wednesdays off. So last week, because Friday, I'll get the calendar up. So Friday, that being the 18th, was Good Friday, right? It was Good Friday. So that's a day off. And then we have Easter Monday, which is also a public holiday here in Australia. And then, of course, the 25th is Anzac Day, which, again, is another public holiday. So last week, I did 3 days. And then this week, I've had 2 days. And actually what I did was, because we now looking back on it, what I should have done was I should have swapped my Wednesday, the 16th, for the 17th. So I should have gone to work on Wednesday and had the Thursday off. Then I would have had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. But I didn't think about it until yesterday, that's literally a week too late. But anyway, what I've done this week is I went Tuesday and I went to work yesterday. I went to work Wednesday. Here's a spoiler for you. I'm recording this on Thursday. So I went to work yesterday, Wednesday, and had today off instead. So I just swapped that. But, so it's very, I think that makes sense instead of like going to the office one day, having a day off, then going to the office again, as in today, and then having tomorrow off. But I get a 4-day weekend, back to back, like long weekends. How good is that? It was very interesting, at the office. There was a few people away because you've got this pesky short week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So a few people had those 3 days off. So, a few of the senior staff had a few extra days off, which is fine. So they would have had, let me see, from the 18th through to they'll be back on the 28th. So what's that? 10 whole days of doing nothing. Crazy stuff. Anyway, very interesting how it's all worked. But I don't think there's any more holidays off or public holidays, long weekends or anything for a little while now. Let me have a look at the calendar on the phone. Excuse me. I am yawning. It's like tomorrow. Oh, I don't know if we get a day off calendar. Australian late. That's for Queensland. Right, nothing in May. That's for not for us. King's birthday. June. This is not a nationwide holiday. It may not be observed in your region. New South Wales, ACT, Northern Territory, SA, Tas, Vic. So WA, and that's interesting, WA and somewhere else. Queensland miss out. Okay, sure. Anyway, so nothing until June? That's actually not that far away. It's May soon, so yeah. Anyway, it's very interesting. Hope you've had an all right Easter. Hope it's been good. And, we'll be back with an update of the reading just after this. So, I think I mentioned this before to you. If I haven't, I apologise. But this year I thought I want to try and read some more because I haven't been reading, really. Like, I'm not a reader, but a few years ago I thought, maybe I should start reading because, knowledge is porridge. Not that I'm reading... Yeah, knowledge is porridge. And also... and also, I think it's just like good to read, right? Anyway, so I thought to myself, I'm not a big reader. What do I want to read? So I thought, well, okay, I've seen like just about all the Bond films. I haven't seen the latest one. I've seen all the Bond films and I thought, hey, look, Bond was a novel. Bond was a series of novels. So why not like read stuff I know? Things like, Poirot and those Sherlock Holmes, etc. So this is a little bit of an update of my reading. Now, I thought like a book a month could be reasonable. I'm ahead of schedule. I've done 6. I have finished 6 books this year. So this is the order I have read them because as I said, I do have some of the Bonds. So I've been trying to break it up. So I've done a Bond novel, something else, Bond novel, something else, Bond novel, something else. But I can't keep that alteration going because I have. Let me see. I have one other book left. I've got 5 books left. I have 4 of them are Bonds, and the 5th book is something else. So will need to get, another book, a couple of books at some point. Anyway, so this is what I have read so far. So I've read Casino Royale, which is a Bond. Breakfast at Tiffany's. I have read Live and Let Die, which is another Bond. The Mysterious Affair at Styles, which is Hercule Poirot. Moonraker, which is another Bond. And I have just finished reading Dracula. Dracula actually was interesting because Dracula was interesting because I felt it just kind of ended. There was suspense build up and then it just sort of finished. There was a situation where it's like, oh my God, this is bad. Like something could happen, won't be great. And then it just was like over, in a kind of a matter of fact way. So that was interesting to me, how that kind of, wrapped up. But they have been very good. I think all the books have been interesting. They all, I guess, books, they have their draggy bits, don't they? And I guess because I've only finished Dracula a couple of days ago, that's probably the most fresh in my mind. But that had a couple of draggy periods. But overall, I would say all the books have been pretty good. Poirot, I think, was very solid. Anyway, so what I've got next is another Bond next. And then I have a Sherlock Holmes book. So I'll read I think it's Diamonds Are Forever, and then Sherlock Holmes, and then I have another Bond. I can't quite recall what the order is. Could be from Russia with Love. Because you see, the Bond novels are in a different order to the movie releases. For example, like as a context for you. So I have those 3 to read, and then after I do that, I only have 2 Bond stories left. So I will, if I want to keep my rotation up, my alteration, which I think is good, I will have to get another book or something, and I might get another Poirot. I think that was pretty decent. Or I don't know. I do want to maybe read Frankenstein. I think that could be interesting in those sort of the classic stories. I just want to read the classic stuff. Anyway, everybody. That's it for books. Let's go to another quick little break. I was going to say break, a commercial break, and update on my hip recovery. So, everybody, as you will be aware, not very close to, not quite a year ago, but we're sort of 11 months and, I don't know, 2 weeks from, I don't know, it's very close to it. Sorry, it's very close to being a year. I was just doing a little bit of a burp then. It's very close to being a year. But anyway, if you will recall, came off my bike in May, and as a result broke my hip. And it has been quite the recovery, and I am still not fully recovered. That's the thing. I'm still not fully recovered. It's, nearly a year later. I would say I'm probably about 90% where I was, but getting that last 5, 10%, 15% is quite a drag and quite a process. It's just, I just still don't quite have that strength in my leg as I had previously. And when I walk, I still have a little bit of like a limp or a hobble. And it's very interesting. I saw my sister for the first time in about 2 years, maybe 3 weeks ago. And she's like, "Oh, you still have quite a limp." And I thought that was interesting because, like, I've not really noticed, but I guess I hadn't seen it for such a long time. Obviously, it's like quite obvious. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. And also, I don't have the flexibility as well as I used to. So, if I want to put shoelaces on, if I want to put shoes with laces on, it is quite difficult for me to get into a position where I can achieve that. I just don't have that movement in my hip I used to. And I may not, I guess, that might be gone forever. Like, I may not ever get that fully back. So that's a little bit annoying. So putting shoes with laces on, or if I want to put my cycling shoes on, which have like a dial on them, or have some that's got straps on them, it is challenging, to say the least, to achieve that, to get them on and to get them on tight. That's just a bit difficult. But anyway, I suppose it is what it is. But apart from that, everything is fine, really. So, yeah. I've got my Osmo here on the app, so I could see. I want to be able to see what I'm doing, but it's having a bit of a problem. So hopefully the video is going to be okay, but there might be some gaps in it. I don't know. Anyway, everybody, let's wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for watching the podcast, if you've watched it, and also thank you very much for listening to the podcast. Because, like, if we're honest with ourselves, why would you listen to this podcast? What value do you get? What do you get out of it? Seriously, I don't know. Does anybody know? I mean, I'm sure somebody knows, but yeah. Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode. Hopefully the video's okay. I'm skeptical. The Osmo, I might have to get myself a new one. Actually, I want to get one of those Insta360s. They look cool. Anyway, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening, and I will catch you next time. See ya.